Hi, my name is Vicki. Welcome to my first tutorial. I've been crocheting all of my life since I was a little girl, but very seriously for the last 2 years, and I have taught myself off of YouTube videos. And so I wanted to pay back and do a tutorial for everybody. And we're going to be making these lovely mutluk slippers today. I actually wrote the pattern, designed them myself. So the things that you're going to need for this tutorial is going to be some chunky double knit yarn. And I live here in England. I'm American, but I'm living in England. I've been here for the last 5 years. And so I have some DK bonus chunky yarn, worsted yarn. But you can also use Red Heart or Lion Brand, whichever you choose to use. In any case, you're going to need, I used 1.5 of these for my first slipper. And I also have some fun fur that I've done on the top, and I have some leather soles that I purchased just for crocheting and knitting slippers. And I have a size 2.5 millimeter crochet hook that you're going to need as well. So get your fun fur and your yarn and your soles. You don't need the soles, you can do them without the soles, but they do make them really, really nice and they don't slip. So get those. So hopefully you've got all of your items now so that you can go ahead and go along with me during this tutorial. There's a couple of things I wanted to tell you in the beginning. I decided to do a tutorial on this particular pattern because it's not something that you can mass sell, that you would be able to make a bunch of gifts for friends or relatives with, because you're going to try on your slipper as you're constantly making it. So unless it's for a child or somebody that's living in your home with you, it would be quite difficult to make one of these and ship them off. Now, this pattern was made for my foot, but as we go along, you're going to keep trying on your slipper and you're going to adjust as you need to. So my foot, my calf is 34 centimeters. I have my assistant, my daughter. I have 5 kids. So if you hear things going on, that's what's going on. It's my children. They're all home from school. And that's why I'm in my bedroom where it can be as quiet as possible. So excuse me sitting in bed. But this is for a 34 centimeter calf and a 24 centimeter right around here at the ball of your foot, which is the widest, thickest part of your foot. So I measured that and I measured this area. And that's what these are made for. Now, I would not suggest going up a larger hook and trying to make them with a larger hook. What's going to happen then is it's going to everywhere is going to get bigger. And you may not necessarily need that. You can adjust by decreasing or increasing a couple of stitches wherever you need to do so as we go along. And I'll just let you know, try it on, increase, decrease as you need to. The gauge that I had, it was 8 rows and 16 stitches equals 4 inches. So for a 4-inch square, that would be 8 rows and 16 stitches across to obtain the exact gauge for these slippers. Again, that's not really necessary because you're going to be able to increase and decrease the way you want to. Also, I put 5 rows of fur on the top. You can put more fur on if you want to and fold down and have a bigger cuff. You can put some strings and put some pom-poms on your slipper if you choose to do that. I don't do that because my dog will chase after me all day long and try to get my pom-poms as I'm walking through the house. But I love the fur on them. So again, you don't need the soles if you don't want them. You can make your fur as wide, as thick as you want to. That is the absolute last thing that we do. And you can obviously make them any color that you wish to do. Just quickly, for those that don't know how to crochet already, I've inserted this quick tutorial to show you the stitches we'll be using. The first stitch is chaining, which you just do your magic loop like I've already showed you. And then you're just going to wrap around and pull through your magic loop. Wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through. This is a chain. Wrap around, pull through. And you will need to practice this a couple of times and practice your tension so that they're not all different sizes. And once you get used to doing a chain, And then I'm going to teach you the double crochet, which is the main stitch we use throughout the slippers. And that's very simple. You're going to wrap around, go through your loop, pull your yarn through the loop, wrap around, go through 2, wrap around, go through 2. That's a double crochet. Again, wrap around, go through your loop, grab your yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2. Your next stitch you'll be using is a single crochet, and we'll be doing that later on in this tutorial. And what you do on that is you're going to not wrap around, you're just going to go straight into your loop, pull your yarn through, wrap around, and go through 2. So just go right down your loop, grab your yarn, pull it out, wrap around, and go through 2. And those are the 3 main stitches we are using during the slippers. Welcome back. You probably didn't leave, but I did. In any case, we're going to go ahead and chain 65. Now, I've already gone ahead and measured my calf, and I know that 65 is exactly what I need. So what you're going to do is give or take more or less, depending on what your calf is. So go ahead and make your magic loop and tighten. I'm assuming you know how to do a magic loop and that you already know how to crochet. If you don't, just go ahead and curve your yarn over and then flip it. Looks a bit like a pretzel, I always think, and pull up. If that was too fast for you, go ahead and rewind and watch that again. And we're going to chain 65 with our 2.5 millimeter hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Fifty, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. And what you're going to do is actually take your yarn, go around, and you're going to make yourself a circle. So you're just going to take that tail, make sure it's not twisted, and go ahead and put that right on your hook. And then wrap around and pull through both so that you have a circle. And what you can do now is take this circle, stick it over your foot, and pull it all the way up to about here on your calf. I don't know if you can see that or not, about here on your calf. So just go ahead and take your circle, pull it up, and see if that fits your calf. And if it fits your calf nicely, then you're all set. Okay, now that you've created your loop, and make sure that it is not twisted, you're going to double crochet once in every single stitch all the way around. And this is your cuff. We're working the cuff down. If your calf is smaller, go ahead and decrease a couple of stitches. If your calf is larger, go ahead and add some extra stitches. It's not going to make a difference. I would suggest writing down everything you do because you need to make 2 slippers identical. So if you're going to do 55 stitches, write it down on a piece of paper so when you go to make your next slipper, you know. And keep it going throughout this entire tutorial so you know any place that you've increased or decreased. In any case, we've gone ahead and made our ring. Chain 1 and double crochet once in every single stitch all the way around. And again, making sure that you do not twist your ring. And my hook is it's plastic and it's very flimsy. It bends a lot, so always starting out your ring is a little fiddly, I find, and I think most people find that when you first start, it's a little fiddly. Okay, so go ahead and double crochet once around your entire ring. Okay, so now you've double crocheted in each one all the way around your whole ring, and now we're going to finish this one and slip stitch into the top right there of your ring. And what I always do is I tuck in my tails. So I'm going to slip stitch into there and tuck my tail right in there, and we're just going to double crochet right on top of your tail. I am going to trim my tail a little bit so it's not near as long. And again, sorry for my unorthodox way of sitting here on the bed. In any case, rows 1 through 9 is just going to be straight double crochet all the way around. So you're just going to keep double crocheting all the way around. And I'll be honest with you, I did not slip stitch on each joining. I just went around and around and around on the original one because I didn't want to have a line down the back of my boot. So I just kept working in the round instead of slip stitching on each one. Now, and sometimes when you go through the decreases as you're making the boot and as it's getting longer, the slipper, you may decide to go ahead and slip stitch into some of them because it may look as though you'll have a space that you don't intend to have. And so it would make more sense in that case to go ahead and slip stitch. Once in a while is fine when you're working on the boot, but it's really totally up to you. I just didn't want to have a line down the back of the boot, the slipper. But this works up really quickly because we're doing double crochet. So it really only took me about 3 hours, I think, to make the first one, and that was designing it. I had never made a slipper. I'm sorry, I've made slippers before. I never made a sock before, and this is a lot like making a sock. So I just did what I thought would be cool, and it worked out great, and I loved it, and I thought you would love it too. So let's see, let me tell you about myself. While we're sitting here crocheting, I've got my cup of coffee. Hopefully you have your coffee or tea as well. I am going to be 40 years old this year. Gasp. I have 5 children, ages 15, 14, 11, 3, and 2 years old. We currently live in Birmingham, England. We are originally from Florida, although the 2 babies have been born here in England. And we've been here for the last 5 years. My husband is English. And that's pretty much it. We just keep busy raising kids. I absolutely am obsessed with crocheting and knitting. But crochet has got my heart. It works up quickly. There are so many things you can do crocheting. And you just make so many gorgeous things. Please go by my Facebook page and like it for me. Look through the pictures and see all the different things that I've made, and if there's something that you would like for me to make that you think would be fun and interesting to have a tutorial done. If I get enough people that would like a tutorial on an item, I'll be more than happy to do it or answer any of your questions. Okay, so now you've double crocheted in each one all the way around your whole ring, and now we're going to finish this one and slip stitch into the top right there of your ring. And what I always do is I tuck in my tails. So I'm going to slip stitch into there and tuck my tail right in there. And we're just going to double crochet right on top of your tail. I am going to trim my tail a little bit so it's not near as long. And again, sorry for my unorthodox way of sitting here on the bed. In any case, rows 1 through 9 is just going to be straight double crochet all the way around. So you're just going to keep double crocheting all the way around. And I'll be honest with you, I did not slip stitch on each joining. I just went around and around and around on the original one because I didn't want to have a line down the back of my boot. So I just kept working in the round instead of slip stitching on each one. Now, and sometimes when you go through the decreases as you're making the boot and as it's getting longer, the slipper, you may decide to go ahead and slip stitch into some of them because it may look as though you'll have a space that you don't intend to have. And so it would make more sense in that case to go ahead and slip stitch. Once in a while is fine when you're working on the boot, but it's really totally up to you. I just didn't want to have a line down the back of the boot, the slipper. But this works up really quickly because we're doing double crochet. So it really only took me about 3 hours, I think, to make the first one, and that was designing it. I had never made a slipper. I'm sorry, I've made slippers before. I never made a sock before, and this is a lot like making a sock. So I just did what I thought would be cool, and it worked out great, and I loved it, and I thought you would love it too. So let's see, let me tell you about myself. While we're sitting here crocheting, I've got my cup of coffee. Hopefully you have your coffee or tea as well. I am going to be 40 years old this year. Gasp. I have 5 children, ages 15, 14, 11, 3, and 2 years old. We currently live in Birmingham, England. We are originally from Florida, although the 2 babies have been born here in England. And we've been here for the last 5 years. My husband is English. And that's pretty much it. We just keep busy raising kids. I absolutely am obsessed with crocheting and knitting. But crochet has got my heart. It works up quickly. There are so many things you can do crocheting. And you just make so many gorgeous things. Please go by my Facebook page and like it for me. Look through the pictures and see all the different things that I've made, and if there's something that you would like for me to make that you think would be fun and interesting to have a tutorial done. If I get enough people that would like a tutorial on an item, I'll be more than happy to do it or answer any of your questions. But again, the Facebook page is Crochet Created Handmade Life. And you can also purchase things that I have made. You can order things if you'd like me to make something for you. Anything in the world that you can think of, I'll be more than happy to make. I've made some lovely heirlooms of christening bonnets, some wedding garters, garter belts, purses, beautiful baby items, sweaters, all kinds of lovely things. Just go have a look. There is one thing I may go ahead and do a tutorial on, which will be a bath mitt, an actual mitt made out of cotton that you can exfoliate your whole body with in the bath. That has been a really big hit, and so has the little baby Converse, little baby New York infant hat, baby cocoons, all of those wonderful things. So hopefully this is the beginning of a wonderful career doing something that I absolutely love doing, which is crocheting. Hopefully you all enjoy my tutorials and keep coming back for more. And the only way to do that is for you to tell me what you would like for me to do. So again, we're going to go ahead and do 9 rounds. I'm on my second round right now. So you're going to do 9 rounds of double crochet. Okay, and we are going to meet back here at the end of our 9th round. And I'm assuming everybody knows what double crochet is, but that's just simply wrapping around, go through the hole, wrap around again, come through, go through 2, go through 2, wrap around, go in, grab that yarn, bring it out, go through 2, go through 2. Wrap around, go through your hole, grab your yarn, bring it through, go through 2, go through 2. And that is your double crochet, which is what this entire slipper is double crochet. We use single crochet a little bit, but this entire slipper is all done in double crochet. So it's super, super easy. It's super cool and fun, very modern. I love doing fun, modern things. This is not your grandmother's crochet anymore. We are getting trendy and cool. I see so many things that have crochet on them now in the stores. The sleeves and the cleavage of tops and purses, handbags, jewelry. Lots of gorgeous jewelry is done now through crochet. So now's the time to learn, because there's so many gorgeous things that you can make. And I love my kids telling me, Mom, this kind of sweater I want, this kind of cardigan I want, this kind of hat or scarf or gloves or mittens. I love it. I love making those. And I absolutely love making preemie hats and donating hats and shawls, blankets, scarves, all of those things, mittens. One of my favorite charities is Project Linus. I love donating to them. I know that the items are going to abuse shelters, they're going to the hospitals, they're going to foster care children who just want a blankie to hold on to. They love those things, even big blankets for teenagers that are in foster care. You know, a lot of these kids don't get to carry around their toys with them from home to home, but they get to keep that blanket. And that to me, giving a blanket is giving a hug. So as you're learning to crochet and you're practicing, make some preemie hats, make some regular sized hats, make some mittens, make some scarves, and donate those suckers. Also, I love to take my scrap yarn. When I'm bored and I'm in between projects, I will just go ahead, take my scrap yarn, make me some little helmet, baby helmets, which are your preemie hats. And in one evening when you're watching a couple of shows, you can make 2 or 3 of those and go ahead, post them in the mail, find your local Project Linus. They're all over America, they're all over the UK, and they're just a wonderful charity. And no, they have no idea that I have just said this on the YouTube, but that is one of the charities I like to donate to. So that's my, I'm done preaching. But it is nice to give back. And I love the fact that keeping my hands busy stops me from boredom eating, stops me from, I don't know, sitting there surfing the internet the entire time, or, when you're bored, it's nice to just pick up a needle and create something really cool. And once you learn to crochet, you can make picture frames and give them as gifts and all kinds of things. So, all right, go ahead and go to your row number 9, and I will meet you here at the end of row number 9. So this is what you should have so far when you're on your 9th row. I have 9 rows of crochet here. That was my starting point. This is where I'm at right now. And when I try it on, it fits perfectly. It's standing up, it's not falling down, it's right there on its own. So that's what you should be having right now. So you can go ahead and try that on, make sure it's fitting you perfectly. Our next round is going to be a decrease round because you have this natural slope in your leg and it's going to get skinnier there. So we're going to go ahead and decrease 4 on our next row. I'm going to show you again what the slipper looks like. I've stuffed it with some yarn. So this again is what we're making. It doesn't look near as cute here as it does on your foot, but this is it. So we're right here. We're in our first 9 rows right here, and at the very end you'll put your fur on, but this is where we're at right now. So let's go ahead and do some decreases. Okay, what we're going to do now is some decreases. We're going to do 4 decreases in this round, and it's your 10th round. And you're going to put your decreases evenly so that you've got 1 at the start, 1 at the side, 1 in the front, and 1 at the side. They don't have to be perfect, but it's nice to keep them uniform. If you do 4 creases on one side, you're going to have a lopsided cuff. So let's go ahead and go around and do our decreases. I'm going to show you how to do that. So because we're going to have 4, 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to start off with the first one right here. And what you simply do is go in, wrap around, come through, go in, pull through, and go through all of those at one time. I'm going to do that again for you. Go into the loop, pull your yarn through, go in through the very next loop, pull your yarn through, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Let's do it one more time. Okay, go through your loop, pull through your yarn, go through your loop, pull through your yarn, and pull through all 3 loops on your yarn, on your hook at the same time. Then your very next loop, you're going to go ahead and do a double crochet. And we have 3 more of those to do around our round. So that was 1 decrease, and we're going to do 4 decreases all together on this round. And from here on out, you're going to do quite a few decreases because you're just going to bring your boot smaller and smaller as you go. All the way down to your ankle. Now when I get in the middle of my cuff, when I get to the side of my cuff, and I skipped a loop, when I get to the side of my cuff, I'm going to go ahead and do another decrease. And I'm not counting. I'm not counting because there's no reason to count. And again, everybody's calf is a different size. So now let's go 1 decrease. So I've done 2 decreases now. I have 2 more to do. See, this is why this pattern would be very difficult unless you know somebody like my sister and I have the exact same foot. However, our calves are a different size. Her calf is a little bit bigger than my calf, which wouldn't be a problem because the cuff would probably just stay up on her better. This is a very stretchy material. So the only way you could go wrong is if you actually make the cuff too big. It won't stay up as nice. It may slouch. So I know if I made a pair of these for my sister, they would fit her. I could just do it right along with my foot. And it would probably fit her perfectly, actually. But I'm doing this tutorial in hopes that she will make her own, as she is learning a lot of crochet right now too. So if you know somebody that has the same size foot as you and around the same size calf, you can go ahead and make a pair as a gift for them. Other than that, I'd have them at your house and keep trying it on as you go. I just slipped in another decrease there as I was talking to you, which is my 3rd decrease. And so I'll have my 4th over on this side somewhere, because if I had one at the very, very beginning, and I don't want it too close to that. Not that it really matters, because it's not going to be detrimental by any means. It has been spring break here in England. My children have been out of school for the last 2 weeks, and they go back on Monday. Today is Friday, and we are all at our wits' end. Everybody is over it because it has been rainy and the weather has been awful. There's not been much for them to do. They've been bored. So we are looking forward to school starting back again on Monday. And everybody will be happy. And my house will be clean again. I am very OCD, and it makes me nuts when the house is a mess. But there's really no sense in continuing to clean up and clean up and clean up, because it just gets a mess 20 minutes later. All right, I did my 4th decrease. And if you want to, you can try them on and see if you want to throw another increase in there, if you feel that you need another increase. I don't know why I got a piece of pink fluff in there. Then you can do that. But you probably aren't going to need to do that, because if you measured your calf when we first started, then you should be fine. And we are going on our row 11. And on row 11, we are going to go ahead and decrease by 4 again. So just keep going right on around. And I don't like to decrease in the same spot I decreased before, because to me it would create a bit of a hole there, because you have that space where you already decreased. So if you decrease in the exact same spot again, it's going to look a little wonky. So I'll go next to it and decrease. That way I can keep track of my decreases and they're not on top of each other. That's just my personal preference. Now here in England, there's no such thing as a double crochet. This is actually, oh, I'm sorry. There is such thing as a double crochet. A single crochet. An American single crochet is in England double crochet. There is no such thing as a single crochet in England. So when I'm reading patterns, I have to always check and see if, because I can buy a lot of magazines and books here that are actually American. I have to go back on the back and look at who published them to determine. And obviously I can just look at the picture and tell if it was a single crochet or a double crochet. But it's funny that there's a difference. All right, I'm decreasing. I've done 2 decreases so far. Again, we're on round 11. I have 2 more decreases to do. Where my other decrease was, so I don't want to add a decrease in there. I'm going to go right next to it because I don't want to make a hole. And that was my 3rd one. Yep, I've got 1 more to do on this round. Now I should have told you this a while ago. You could have put a stitch marker so you know where you're going on your rounds. and I'm sorry, I should have said that. I know where I'm at on my rounds because I go by where I started. There's that little notch right there that you're not going to see later on because you're going to cover that with your fun fur. But that's how I know. I just line that up and I know that's exactly where I started. And that's where each of my new rounds start. So I'm sorry, there are some people that live by stitch markers. And a lot of times if I'm doing a sweater or something that absolutely has to be symmetrical, I definitely use my stitch markers. But I didn't use stitch markers on this boot because I wasn't slip stitching from one round to the next. I wasn't slip stitching, so I didn't think it was necessary to use a stitch marker. But by all means, if you want to use a stitch marker, go ahead and do so. If not, you've got that little notch where you first slip stitched your round. Okay, now you'll see it's getting tighter down there. You can go ahead and try it on again. You're on your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and decrease on our 12th round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we're on our 11th, so we're going on our 12th round. We're going to go ahead and decrease 4 more times on your 12th round. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So 4 more decreases on this round.